الصلاة والسلام عليك.
On a rainy fall morning, a man sings a Muslim holy greeting before Friday prayer. The quiet gives way to the sound of ducks as he sings peace and greetings upon the Holy Prophet Muhammad. It's calm here in the foothills of the Catskills Mountains, on this 50-acre farm where a group of Sufi Muslim men call home.
It's also a beautiful area. It's, the landscape is gorgeous, and we're very happy to be here.
Sydney is a small farming town. You can get a cup of coffee for $1 at the only diner around.
Big smile.
The men of the Osmanli Naqshbandi Haqqani order came here 8 years ago to be closer to God, many of them converts. They learn to live off the earth. They bond as brothers while tending to the day-to-day chores of a sheep and cattle farm. And it was as brothers they carried fellow Sufi Amir Solosky's casket to a quiet spot, atop a hill overlooking the place he so adored.
If something was ever happened to me, he's like, I want to be buried upstate. Yeah. That's where he wanted to be.
And here in upstate New York, Solosky's body would lie in peace, or so it should have.
Mr. McCarthy, I assume it's just semantics.
It's a packed crowd in the Sydney Civic Center. Typically, town meetings are sparsely attended, but things have changed. Recently, people have been taking much more of an interest in local politics, both Muslims and non-Muslims. The topic of discussion at this meeting, local burials.
Section 1, no person or entity shall cause the remains of a human being to be buried or establish a burial ground.
A touchy subject, ever since town supervisor Bob McCarthy questioned the legality of the cemetery where Solosky was buried. McCarthy even went as far as to suggest the remains may need to be dug up. The issue quickly garnered ugly national attention, labeling both McCarthy and the town of Sydney Islamophobic.
But our winner, Bob McCarthy, town supervisor of Sydney, New York, that's in Delaware County, and he has just set some sort of record for Islamophobia.
Bob McCarthy, he's a no-nonsense golf-playing conservative who insists investigating the graves had nothing to do with targeting Muslims.
The only reason that Muslims are involved in this is because they buried somebody on their lawn, and nobody else around here does that.
McCarthy backed off the issue. Turns out the cemetery had all the proper legal documents. But anger and embarrassment over the incident lingers in the town. And now it's McCarthy who's the target.
Well, I think it's obvious you don't know what you're doing, Bob.
The media attention has made a spokesperson out of Hans Haas. Calm and logical, he often asks pointed questions, challenging the town board that sought to defile his fellow brethren's graves.
This is a matter of government. This is a matter of civil rights. And we're not going to just give it up like that.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.
He sings the azan, the Islamic call to prayer. Friday afternoon's Jummah service is underway. Sufi men clad in colorful turbans gather to pray. A few women peer in from a back room.
Did I get up for the sake of Allah, to live for Allah's sake?
Overseeing the prayer is their sheikh, the group's religious leader. He moved from Manhattan years ago to build a place where men can practice Islam comfortably. Being a group of Muslims living in semi-seclusion, they expected suspicion. The FBI has even dropped in on them a few times. What they didn't expect was how the residents in this small town would band together to defend them. The issue of the cemetery ballooned into a mission to rid the town of corruption and bigotry.
So I think it's caused people to think more, which I think is good.
Some now make the trek up the hill to see the Sufi center called Adirga. Nancy Gunn took up the invitation to come see a prayer service. She wanted to learn more about the culture she was standing up for.
The outpouring of welcoming or inviting people to each other's homes, or you inviting us out here, it's bringing us together. And I hope this happens in all small towns, opens up our eyes and ears, that we're more similar than not.
And you can even find Hans Haas in the town more often these days. He often drops by the diner to meet with folks about the next town meeting.
I feel more of a part of the community and not so looked at as as something weird or something separate or something, you know, either you're Muslim or you're American. I'm Muslim, I'm American, and Islam is a religion of America, and we're residents of Sydney like everyone else, and people are treating us that way now.
Some say the wind of tolerance that's taken over this town is just temporary, that a year from now no one outside of Sydney will remember or care about what happened here. That may be true, but for this group of Muslims, they've already won the part of the burial war that really matters. In Sydney, New York, Bonny Ghosh, The Associated Press.